If you love the Tennessee Titans, I want you to spam me down below. Why should you love this YouTube channel? Because we keep you guys up to date with news, rumors, and I know Titan fans are pretty dedicated. I actually went to Nashville one time at a bachelor party. Saw quite a bit of y'all, and y'all like to know how to get down. So if you love the Titans, go ahead, spam me. We're going to be looking. Coming up here on today's show, I'm going to be getting into some news and rumors. Mitchell Renz from Chat Sports. I got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. We're going to be talking about free agency. We're going to be talking about a guy like Mike Gesicki, Malcolm Butler. I'm going to be breaking stuff down about Kristian Fulton, what Derrick Henry had to say on Ryan Tannehill. So make sure you're sitting down. Go get some popcorn, maybe a Diet Pepsi or something, because we guys are going to have an awesome show. Could the Miami Dolphins, who have Mike Gesicki as a tight end, could actually their star tight end be on his move over to Tennessee? Why am I talking about all this right now? It's simply because the Tennessee Titans for a long time, they have needed to have a stud tight end. And Gesicki being a free agent is definitely a name to go ahead and keep in mind. The second-round pick, 41st overall from Penn State, the day he came out of the draft, you could see at 6'6", 250 pounds that this dude can play. Now, Dolphins beat reporter Omar Kelly says that Gesicki is going to end up going to the Titans. It's not like an official report, but he's saying that that's his prediction. This is no doubt a big need for Tennessee, and here's what Omar's exact tweet was. Gesicki is going to Tennessee. Remember I said it. Well, remember that I said this. Omar is one of these guys where I get it. He's got a blue check mark, and I know a lot of people out there, they see a blue check mark and they instantly think, ooh, this guy is credible. Omar's not really a credible source. He's just one of those dudes that throws as much stuff at the walls as humanly possible, and if it sticks, he can go back a few months later and be like, see, I told you so. So, all I'm going to say is, well, do I think Gesicki would be a good fit with Tennessee? Yeah, I absolutely do. No disrespect to Anthony Ferguson, no disrespect to Swain, but they needed to go ahead and upgrade. For the Titans offense, if you're going to run some two tight end sets, I get that you want to be able to pound the rock, and Gesicki's not honestly the best run-blocking tight end, but he's one of the best pass-blocking tight ends, and what's one of the best things that you could do for a quarterback coming off probably his worst year with the organization? Getting him an extra safety blanket like Gesicki, because I'm sorry, you can't trust A.J. Brown's going to stay healthy, and I don't know if you can trust that Julio Jones is going to stay healthy. Last season, here were Gesicki's numbers. 112 targets, 73 grabs, 780 yards, 2 touchdowns. And let me just make this very, very clear. These were crazy amount of checkdowns, and the only time that Tua Tagovailoa really threw the ball down the field or middle of the field was to Gesicki. And if you actually gave him a halfway decent quarterback, it would not surprise me if he starts flirting with that 1,000-yard receiving number. Here's the Titans tight end depth chart, which is why this whole rumor popped up, because I would say somebody who maybe doesn't know the team that well can be like, oh, top tight end, where can we put him? My only issue would be, how does Gesicki end up blocking in certain situations? Because Swain's not on the team because he can catch. Ferguson's not on the team because he can catch. They're on the team because they block, because the Titans are a run-first team. So even though I like Gesicki, I'd be curious, though, to see how he would fit. So what do y'all think about this? Should the Titans go out and sign Mike Gesicki? Why for yes and for no? Of a tight end of his caliber, I'm going to say Mike's going to get that number between $11 to $12 million per year. The next story coming up here on today's show is going to be around Malcolm Butler, who is currently a free agent corner. Now, for those of you that don't remember, he was a Tennessee Titans cornerback back in 2020. He's had a few good bright spots. I mean, he's definitely the most well-known for that slant middle of the field in the Super Bowl, jumped it, picked it off, Patriots win. He was released, though, by the Arizona Cardinals last week after essentially coming out of retirement. He didn't play last season at all, and a lot of rumors are circulating that he's been working out. He's been considering a return. Maybe he just didn't want to play for the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know why not. They were a good football team, but maybe that was just the case. Here's what Ian Rappaport had to say on Twitter on February 17th. The Arizona Cardinals have released cornerback Malcolm Butler from the reserve/retired list. Per The Wire, will be interesting, especially if he wants to return. Had heard he's considering it. My personal belief is this: if Butler is in shape, he can still help an NFL team. There are tons of NFL teams out there that could use extra cornerback play. He definitely plays on the inside a lot more, which maybe is not something that Tennessee absolutely needs, depending on how healthy some of their younger guys are. But there's plenty of teams that have worse corners on their roster than Malcolm Butler. Here's what he did with Tennessee in 41 games. He had 201 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 9 interceptions, 35 pass breakups. I know a lot of people, they look at his numbers like, oh, Mitch, Butler had over 100 tackles. He was an absolute lockdown corner. The only issue is this. He got picked on a lot. Butler actually allowed 73 catches back in 2020. That was the most in the National Football League. And part of that could be, they didn't want to go up against Janoris, or they didn't want to go up against some of their other cornerbacks. But for Malcolm Butler, I get some of the numbers look really good, but he did get picked on. And teams could probably continue to pick on him. He's getting up there in age a little bit, and I get the fact that he had touchdowns. He had some interceptions and pass breakups. But if anybody still thinks that Malcolm Butler is going to be a lockdown, shutdown corner, I'm sorry, you're mistaken. He's average at best right now. However, when you look at this cornerback depth chart, I've actually been a big fan of Elijah Molden. And if you're going to go ahead and bring in Butler, he's more than likely going to be in this nickel role. This could actually set back Molden a little bit, who when he first came out, loved his versatility coming out of Washington. Now maybe you want to go ahead and put Molden behind him, Butler can help him learn a little bit. But with Kristian Fulton, who's been dealing with a lot of injuries, you got Farley, who fell out of Virginia Tech with a lot of injuries. I mean, as you can see, a lot of injuries here on this roster. So would you want the Tennessee Titans to go out and sign Malcolm Butler? I want you to type S for sign or type P for pass. I told y'all, we're an interactive YouTube channel, so I'm going to be looking down in the comments what you guys have to say. If Tennessee does go out and they make a splash in free agency for any player, but also if they go out and sign Malcolm Butler, we're going to be making a video about it. So all I want you guys to do is take a second, look underneath the video. There's a subscribe button. Click that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications. It's literally a bell. You click that bell. Help us get to 3,000. We're free for a reason, because we want to keep you guys up to date, and we believe some things in life should be free. Let's go to the next story here. It's around quarterback Ryan Tannehill, and Derrick Henry's got his back. I've never been in a brawl, but I can promise you this. If I was in a fight and Derrick Henry had my back, I would have beer muscles 24/7, because that guy is a monster. Now, that really doesn't have anything to do with this is going on about, but Henry spoke about his quarterback. And anytime you want somebody to come to your defense, especially when it's Derrick Henry, the face of the franchise. And Tannehill, no doubt, he took a step back this year, didn't play nearly as productive. He did not play well in the playoffs whatsoever, throwing 3 interceptions up against the Cincinnati Bengals, who went ahead and lost in the Super Bowl. But here's what King Henry had to say about his quarterback. Look, everybody has adversity. One game doesn't define a player. It's not just one person playing out there by himself. It's a team effort. Things like that happen sometimes at the end of the day. I know who Ryan is. I know the type of player that he is, that he's going to let that fuel him and not get down on himself. We're all back and we're all behind him. We're all going to stick together and come back better. I do personally believe that Tannehill did come back to earth a little bit. 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions in 2020. Comes back this year, didn't have nearly as good of a year. And, I can point the finger at not having a healthy Julio Jones, having the tight end room that they did, Derrick Henry getting banged up, having A.J. Brown miss a ton of those games. And Ryan Tannehill's not one of these quarterbacks that's going to be able to put the entire team on his back, but when he has a lot of good pieces around him, he's always been able to show that he can get it done. I also understand the playoff game, because if anybody can honestly say that they didn't think Ryan Tannehill was shitting bricks, then they didn't watch the very first pass, which was a clear as day interception. I mean, it was just as bad as it gets. Here's where the numbers this past season. 67.2% completion percentage, 3,734 yards, 21 touchdowns, 14 picks, a QBR of 55.9. There's no doubt this was his worst season since being a quarterback of the Titans, but we also have to think about this. Everything else that happened from an injury standpoint around this roster. So after watching Tannehill for a few games, for a few seasons in Tennessee, is he the guy? Do you want Tannehill to be the quarterback for the Titans? Type 1 for yes, or you can type 0 for no. The way that I'm going to wrap up the show is a little bit of injury news, and it's around Kristian Fulton. And this one, man, just really, really breaks my heart. I had Kristian Fulton as a first-round prospect when he first came out of LSU, was my top cornerback prospect. The reason why he fell all the way down to round 2, I believe 61 overall, was because of the injuries. Last season did miss some time, but still was able to put up 40 tackles, 2 picks, 14 pass breakups. I mean, those are really good numbers. He allowed a 51.4% completion percentage, 496 yards. Yeah, obviously that could be a little bit better. However, the reason why this breaks my heart is because he had surgery. Like, you thought that, okay, when he was able to come back, finish out the season, we saw what Kristian Fulton could do, and he looked like a damn good player. Now he's having surgery on his shoulder, and all I can say is, Kristian, man, just please come back healthy, ready to go because your upside, dude, it's absolutely there. So we keep you guys up to date, news, rumors. If you've made it this far in the video, we're doing something right around here. So all I want you to do, enjoy the rest of your Monday. And if there's anything else that happens today, we got you covered. So hit that sub button.